Okay, good morning, everyone out there who's ever going to listen to me speak someday down the road, in the future, I should say. My name is Leonard J. Bordeau, born and raised in Ganawage, except when I worked away in the U.S. And also, before we get started, I'd like to just say welcome to everyone out there who's going to be listening. Agwego wat kwanu waratu tano ukwe hu neha na yujat adunyu. Tanoda sa tego ni wasona da wago siriago tanu gne uwa o hiariha do waso kayeri ni gahawi. I'm here at the Cultural Center today, Ganataguanke, as they call it, and we're going to be doing, I guess, a video, or I'm going to be I'm going to be speaking about some of the pictures which are going to be coming on the screen, and I'll be describing events and different people that were on these pictures. Okay, I guess I'm ready to roll. Ah, there's my favorite. Oh, yeah, that's sometime in. You see that little kid there bawling his eyes out? That's me. Poor little guy. Okay, that's me. The two kids to the left were. Their last names were Charette. They were a French family who happened to live in a house just a little before where I lived, and the girl next to my right is my older sister Marie, and in the background I have my cousin Stephen Cross, he's holding the hands up to the sun, and what you see in the background is at the time there was fields and fields of rhubarb, and my late grandfather Katsuhotu had secured a contract with Steinberg's. Steinberg's, I guess they went out of business sometime in I'm guessing sometime in the 70s. Steinberg's was a grocery store franchise, something like nowadays what we see like IGA and Super C and so forth. Anyway, he had secured a contract, and the contract he was obliged or obligated to pick and send a load of produce to a warehouse in I believe it was somewhere in LaSalle. So in order to pick all the rhubarb, my late grandfather used to hire people. It was too much work for himself and his family, so they used to hire people. They would come and they would work. They would pick the rhubarb, cut the leaves off. I think that's how it was, and they would wrap them in rubber bands and load them in the truck. And for some reason or other, he wasn't allowed to go over the bridge until past 6 o'clock in the evening. Whatever that was, reason for that, I don't know. But anyway, that's what the way I was told. And I believe the people that worked here were all from town, and I think they made something like I don't know if it was 25 cents an hour, whatever, so much for a day, and they were fed and they were provided with water, and there was people that would go pick them up. And then later years, when the need for fresh rhubarb seemed to, I guess it was in decline. There wasn't as much demand. Plus the cost of travel and gas and everything else was going up. They had to cut back, and the workers were told that they would need to bring their own lunch, and they eat over here. Okay, and to the left of you see there's a shed there. I remember that shed real good because we used to hang out in that shed in the summertime. Myself and I had an older sister and my younger sister. I mean, a younger brother, and we used to always be in that shed. And I know there was license plates from I don't know how many different states. And what we have right now are a picture of my grandmother, my late grandmother, and my grandmother, my grandfather on the Bordeaux side. His name was Gatohotu Angus Bordeaux, and my grandmother, her name was Annie Awahogu Bordeaux. They more or less kept the farm going. Later years, there was rumors going around that there was going to be the governments were, I guess, more or less unilaterally deciding that we were going to have to sell our farm and we have to move to the village. So I guess my grandfather had passed away before anything happened. So everything more or less fell onto my grandmother, and I never did actually find out how much was offered to her for because the property was sold. It was a big piece of property. I don't know. I'm guessing somewhere 90, maybe 100 acres. And of course, not all of it was used, but a lot of it was used for. We had rhubarb, we had peas, we had corn, we had a raspberry patch, and of course, being a farm, we had the way I remember, we had 2 horses. I think it was 3 cows. We always had a dog, a cat, chickens. So we were okay. Life was, of course, a lot simpler back then. Not like the way how complex it is now. Nowadays, it seems like everything has to happen in a certain way. Okay, now in this picture here, I'm looking at my on the right would be my dad's younger sister. No, I should say, his older sister Mary. She married William Cross, and the person on the far left would be I forget her name, but that would be William Cross's mother, I believe. And in looking at this picture, it must have been there must have been some kind of a wedding. I'm assuming that it was William Cross and Mary's wedding because and I see a person sitting in the background there. He's taking in a view of what's happening, and he's sitting right close to that shed with all the license plates on it. Oh, the memories that exist of me growing up and living on the farm and seeing that shed every day, and it's really it's sentimental to me. It's emotional. Now in this picture here, I have of course you see the shed to the left, and then you see the fields of rhubarb with the bush in the background, and then the woman, I believe, that would be my late Auntie Susan. She was a Johnson, and she married my late Uncle Tom Bordeaux. And that the little girl, I'm assuming that would be her daughter Gladys. I'm not sure. And they had a dog. I don't remember too much about the dog. Maybe that was their own dog. And of course, you see a nice 2-wheel bicycle in the background there. Back then, a 2-wheel bicycle was almost like a luxury, and I'm looking at it. It looks like a real snazzy bicycle, and something I would buy if I was able to buy, even like nowadays. Okay, and in this picture again, you see the shed with all the license plates. It almost seems like some of the license plates have been removed for whatever reason. Maybe they just fell off. And the person on the far left, I'm not sure, but I believe that would be my cousin Eva, my late uncle John, his daughter, and then to the far right that would be the late Hazel. I believe that would be my cousin, the late Hazel Lazar. She married a Wallace Lazar. And then as for the kids, I really don't know who they are, but they're all part of my family anyway. And here's an interesting picture because, well, it's besides it being all having been bent in the past and maybe mishandled, abused or whatever. But to my far left, that would be John Phillips. He's more commonly known as John Bassano Phillips. And the next person, I don't remember too much about this person, but I'm told that his name was Frank White. I think he was a family friend. Okay, and the next person would be my late uncle Thomas, and then the next would be my dad, Matthew Wajo Bordeaux, and then the next person would be my also my late uncle William. He grew up on the farm also, and at a young age he went away. He started doing iron work. Later on, he he ended up in Detroit, and then later on he met his fiance, and they married. And I guess work might have got slow in Detroit. They moved to Baltimore, and that's where he worked the rest of his life. He even he had a trailer. Then later on, he purchased a home, and they had a family, and he stayed there for the rest of his life. And he joined the local union in Baltimore. Okay, on the bottom is my late mom, Louisa. I think her Mohawk name was Gadenius Macumber. And then to the right, this one I believe her name was, I'm not sure, but I think that would be Irene Phillips. She was also a friend of the family. And here we have a picture of my older sister making her, I guess that would be her first communion. And there's I don't know what year that car is. Maybe somewhere in the 40s, early 40s. And then next to the car, standing in front, would be my mom, my late mom, Louisa. And in the background, you see there's not too much in way of plants. So it looks like this was prior to the planting season. Looks like it was early in the spring, or it couldn't be too early because my mom has short sleeves on. And in the background, what you see is the old barn. And okay, oh wow, look at this picture. To the far right, with the man leaning against the structure, it looks like it might have been a tower. That would be my late grandfather, Angus Gadzahodu Bordeaux. And then to the far left would be his son. One of them, I don't know if it was Peter or his other brother. And then I'm not sure, but I think next to him or the other person, one of them was a Leclerc. He was also from town. And the other two people were, I guess, the co-workers. They're not from Kahnawake. Okay, okay, Louis. Yeah, that's Louis Bordeaux. And then there's William Leclerc. Then there's a Frenchman, Dota Angus, and first row a Frenchman. Yeah, that's yeah. And here we see a picture of what looks like I guess a family gathering. And to the right, you see parts of the house where we lived in, and there was a porch, and you can't see it, but just a little to the right there would be a doorway. And okay, the on the far right with the man was looking like he's holding his hand. That would be my late uncle. No, not my late uncle. My dad, Matthew Wadjo Bordeau. Behind him, I believe that is Mary and her husband William. And just to the left, kind of like peeking through, that would be my late uncle William Bordeaux, and in front of him would be my late uncle Tom. His wife Susan, and then this woman in front. I'm not sure, but I rather not say because I'm not sure at all. Okay, and the next person would be my late grandmother, Annie Bordeaux. She's holding a child. Okay, and in the back you see that would be my late Uncle Tom, and then would be my late Uncle John. And this person here with the face kind of being blurred out, that would be my late grandfather, Angus Katsuhodu Bordeaux. And as for the two women to the left, I have to apologize, but I don't know who they are. And the little kids too, I can't really say who they are. It's just too long ago, and I don't recognize them. Okay. Gladys, Hazel, and okay, Gladys, my cousin Tom, and Susan Bordeaux, their daughter Gladys. Then Hazel, that would be my cousin Hazel Lazar, the late Hazel Lazar, and Wallace Lazar, their daughter Hazel. And then Stephen would be my cousin. His mom and dad are up here in the picture in the back. They're William and Mary Cross. And here again we have a picture of my grandparents, Angus Katsuhodu Bordeaux, and my late grandmother, Annie Awanhogu Bordeaux. And you see the famous shed with all the license plates in it. And there's really not too much in there, but I guess we had a short clothesline, and you could see some of the clothes hanging there. And it seems like in the background there's a shed or something. That I don't recall that. Oh, here's another. This is another picture I like here. It's all the siblings starting from the right. My late Uncle John, my late Uncle Tom, my late Auntie Mary, my dad, Wadjo, my Uncle William, and then here we have the last surviving member of the siblings, Irene Bordeaux. She's still alive. She's a resident at the Cattery Hospital here in Ganawake. Back in mid-January, she turned 100. I know that because we were always close growing up, and when I go see him, she always reminds me about that. She says, I'm 20 years older than you. I said, yeah, I know. And she turned 100. I think it was January 12th, somewhere around that. And myself, I turned 80 in January 31st of this year, just a few months back. John, Tommy, Mary, Matthew, William, Irene. Yeah. Oh, here's another nice picture with the family. Since you got your pointer right there, I'll start on William Cross, his wife Mary, my dad in the background. My that would be what's her name now? Anyway, that's my late uncle William, his wife. She's I think she's originally from Virginia, and now for whatever reason I can't remember her name. Bessie, her name. That's her name. Okay, and that's my late uncle William. Then my grandmother holding. I'm guessing that would be. Oh, maybe my cousin. Oh, maybe Alida or her sister, and then in the background, my late uncle Tom. Next will be my late uncle John, and then will be my late grandfather Angus Scudzaho du Bordeau. And this in the bottom that looks like my cousin Hazel, the late Hazel Lazar, her sister Eva, and next to the little boy looks like Stephen Cross. That would be Mary and William Cross, their son. Oh my goodness, my years at high school in Lachine. Of course, for those of you that don't know, back in the late 50s, on the res here, you went to school up to grade 6 or grade 7, and after that, if you wanted to pursue more education, you had to go off the res, take a bus to a school in Lachine. I went to school at Bishop Whalen High School, 51st Street, and I think the name of Rene Huguet Avenue, something like that. There are 3 of us in this picture. The far left, down below, yeah, that person there, that's the late Charles Stacy. For those that are not familiar, I think everyone has more or less heard of the late Howard Stacy restaurant. Anyway, that would be his son. And next, we go to the far right. Next, go further a little. Right there, you stop. That would be John Latour. He's still surviving. He very recently retired from work. He was more or less a tax consultant at the MCK. Next to him would be, well, he's not from town, but I know him good because he ended up he was an excellent hockey player. He ended up in the WHA for the Hartford. I forget their name when they were in the WHA. And just above him would be our teacher at the time, Gordon McCambridge. And now you go left and you'll see me. I got that checkered sports jacket on. That's me. In this picture, I think we're all about maybe, I'm guessing, somewhere around 13 years old. And a lot of them I still remember their names, but not all of them. So I rather than guessing, I think we'll just skip. And then okay, and this is a picture of graduation from graduation day at Lachine Trade School, not high school. When I was in high school, I remember I was struggling. I don't know if it was. It seems to me when I went to school in Ganawag, I was okay, but then when I transferred to high school in Lachine, I don't know if it was the culture shock or what, but it seemed like my grades went down and down, and it seemed like at times I was overwhelmed. So I did poorly the first 2 years, and then we had at that time we didn't have nuns at the school. They were what they were called brothers. They were like maybe one step down from being a priest. Anyway, we had brothers as teachers, and okay. Then here I think there was five of us from Ganawag. Where your pointer is, right there, right below, up, right there. That's me. I took a 2 year course in refrigeration. The refrigeration is all about repairing refrigerators and being what they call a stationary engine man, office buildings where they have cooling units and more or less to maintain them and to repair and always be on the job. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, I was a very young man at the time. I was 17 years of age, and I think I was about 5'6", maybe 150 pounds, soaking wet. I couldn't seem to find any work, so I guess I took a whole year off from any kind of work or doing anything after school, and after I graduated, and it was only in maybe June of 1964. My dad took me away to Boston. I started doing ironwork. Okay, getting back to what I was talking about now. Let's see. There's go down the next row. Go right. Right there. Stop. Go down. Okay, that would be. He's related to me. We're cousins. On there, it has him as Alexander Daibo, but we all knew him as Sonny. Good friend of mine, growing up to the years, and we did a little bit of partying, and we did a little bit of dancing. And in later years, when we got started on the powwow, we got started together, and we did. We used to enjoy ourselves being at different powwows. Okay, now down, you go towards the middle. Now where did that person disappear to? Oh, let's see, where did he go? Okay, go left some more. One more right there. That would be the late Peter Jacobs. He's I believe he took up what did he take while I was there? I think he took up welding, and that would be the late Big Al, his younger brother. Big Al, for those of you that don't really know him, he used to play lacrosse, and he was a good lacrosse player, iron worker, and okay, we'll go back towards the middle, just above the school, right there. That would be Alan Patton. Alan Patton, I remember he took up a machine shop. He was a machinist, and I believe he worked at the old Dominion engineering place in Lachine back in after we finished school. He was one of the ones out of us that actually did. He benefit from taking the course, and he worked there for maybe a couple years. Then I don't know what happened. Dominion Engineering, they folded, and later on there was another company that moved into that building. And as for Sonny, he also became a machinist. And I at one time I thought there was five of us, but there was only four of us from town. The rest were all guys from the Montreal area, Ville Saint Pierre, and so forth, Lachine. Oh, and in this picture, this goes back to sometime. Let's see, that would be November of 1966. In Hartford, Connecticut, they were doing what they call a topping out. A topping out is when they install the last beam. They usually have a flag, and in some instances they put a Christmas tree on the last beam that's going up. That's supposedly signifies that the job is now complete, but actually it's not, because it's only like a ceremony where they put the last beam in, and then usually we have a little. We all go downstairs, and they'll have food laid out, and we eat, and we have some big wigs that show up, and they give a speech. And Hartford was at that time. I don't know if it is still that way, but at the time it was like the insurance capital of the U.S. So they were building new buildings almost every year. Okay. And here we have in this picture. This goes back to, I believe that would be 2004. Dorval Airport, another topping out. And in this picture, as I look around, there's I don't know how many. There might have been about 10 of us from town. Some of them I can't even recognize them. I think out of what we have here, I think there's 2 that have passed since then. I know. Let's see, right there. That's me. I look like I have what we call when we work outside, and you're in the sun a lot. Because of the fact that we were required to wear safety glasses, I have what looks like raccoon eyes. The part of our face gets a tan, and the area around the eyes stay white. Okay, and go back right a little, up right there. That's Donald Angus. He's still, although I won't say he's still working. He's still alive. I believe he's retired. And go up. Okay, he's Johnny Bomondo, I believe that would be his name. He's also from town, and just to his left, or to the right, that would be Kevin Horn. I know he had a tragic accident when he was working in Valleyfield at the dam there. I don't know exactly what happened, but he fell, and I think he suffered some damage to his head, and he was. I guess they tried to maybe he had an operation or 2, but later on he ended up being a resident at the hospital here in Ganawage. And I'm not sure. I believe he's still alive. Now, if we go way left, some more. Okay, go up. One more up. That person there. That would be the late Gar Cross. He passed about. I'm guessing about 4 years ago. He was working with us, and then to his left, that looks like Thomas Rice. And then now, if we go down, and go left, far left. Now go up. Right there, that's Warren Goodleaf. And then 2 people away from him would be, that's my son, Lenny. He's at that time, while he was in his early 40s. He's now 49. And now I'm looking around. Let's see, where are some more of the boys? I know there's some more. Okay, right, go up. Right there, that would be, they call him Joe Flo. His real name is Joe McCumber. I guess that name is from his grandfather. His grandfather is the original Joe Flo. And now we go back left, a little more left, and go up. You see that person? That would be Robbie Horn. He is some. If you're a Facebook friend of his. He occasionally posts things that occur, like he goes for bicycle rides, and he puts it in a comedy way. You read his post and you always laugh, and I'll usually say something like, "Good one, Robbie. Keep them coming." So he was, you could almost say, like a clown comedian. Then up on top, you see the four connectors are all French guys. They're all good iron workers. We on that job site, I seen a lot of iron workers that I had never seen before. I didn't know them. As you work iron work, you get to know a lot of the men, and there's a lot of camaraderie, despite the fact that we are Ganawake, we're native people. Then you have some that are English, but most of them are French. But yet, we get along good. There's that. It's called camaraderie, and that was one thing I missed when I retired from doing ironwork. I missed the camaraderie of hanging out and speaking with the fellow iron workers. Okay, and in this picture, there's all of these guys are from Ganawake. Um, I'm not going to try to say who they are, because I don't remember all of them. I know that the pictures in the names are on the picture in the back, but my dad is out on the far left. Next one, yeah, that would be my dad, because he worked there. No, the next one, yeah, right there. That's my late dad, and then the rest of the people. Well, I know they were all from Ganawake, and this was back in Texas. I think it was they called it a Pecos River Bridge. He at that time, he must have been some in his mid 20s, I'm guessing. He had found out to different men in the community that there was work they were hiring in Texas, and so he went there. He joined his, I believe his younger brother is there, or yeah, maybe his older brother and one of his cousins. They're somewhere in there. I can't really say, but I know this is back in maybe 1942, 43, somewhere around that. Okay, there's the names, yeah. John Mayo, Tom Hill, Matthew Bordeaux, Angus Phillips, John Jacobs, Henry Montour, John Big Six Jocks, and so forth. But all their names are up there. Okay, and in this family, this picture, my extended family. This person right here, that would be my late great grandfather, Angus Sojontu Bordeaux. And in the background, behind him would be, of course, they're all deceased. Joe DeLille, that would be the late Andrew DeLille, his dad. And next would be Louis Bordeaux. That would be my dad's first cousin. And then next to him would be Albert French with the big cigar. And just below him would be my late grandfather, Angus Katsuhotu Bordeaux. And okay, and that would be on there. It says the little child stand is John Bordeaux, my late uncle John. So this picture had to be from the early 1900s. And then my grandmother right there, Annie Bordeaux, and on there it says Baby George. The baby had to be one of the ones that didn't survive. This person died young. Okay, and there we go again. That awesome shed with all the license plates. And then we have my cousin Sylvia, Alida, and and Gladys. Yeah, and then their mom, Susan. And this other picture with a nice bicycle and the field of rhubarb in the background, and of course, we had to throw in the shed in there with all the license plates. That would be my cousin. I mean, my cousin Irene, and my cousin also Alida. Alida would be the late Tom Bordeau, his daughter. And in this picture, I'm not sure where this place was, but I think it was they were in New York City at the time for some reason or other. Anyway, to the far left, that would be my cousin Irene, my auntie Irene, I should say, and in the background would be William Cross, my grandmother Annie. Then in the back you see my late uncle William Bordeaux, and then right there is would be my late grandfather Angus Katzahotu Bordeaux. And this person in the background, well, I don't know who that is. He just happened to be walking by when this picture was snapped. And here we have this was I believe it was at a wedding at the Moose Lodge here in Ganawag. I think it was 1977. Maybe my younger sister Donna. Anyway, on the left would be my dad, then my late uncle John, and of course my uncle William. He's the one that more or less spent the last 40 years of his life in Baltimore. They all did ironwork. There's 4 distinguished men. Okay, this is okay. The Phillips sisters. There's Ista Annie right at the bottom in the middle, and then to the left would be Mary Ganyeta Howie, I believe, or was her Mohawk name. That would be my late uncle John, his wife. And to the next one would be Sarah. That would be James Montour, the late James Montour, his wife. And next would be Elizabeth. We used to call her Elizabeth. And then Agnes, we used to call her. And next would be Josie. Josie married Roger Moran. They had I guess about 5 children, and I think it's going to be in one of the pictures later on. Anyway, that's the 5 sisters and their late mother. Well, of course, they're all deceased at this time. Yeah, and here's another interesting picture with the names that are up there. I don't know if there's I think they're all deceased. Of course, from 1940. They would all have to be well into their 80s or 90s. I think the last one was the past was the late Barry DeLille, and he passed, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. That's a little young guy there. He was the mascot, and in later years, he became an excellent lacrosse player. Lacrosse, hockey, all-round good sports person. Any sport that came along, he got into it. He was excellent at any sport he got into. And here we have my late grandfather on the Macomber side. His name was Angus. I believe it was Angus. Anyway, he was no, not Angus. His name was John Lawrence. His Mohawk name was Garu Yaragwa. Garu Yaragwa the meaning of that is the chosen part of the sky. And this and in this picture, I'm sure that had to be somewhere around where they had their house off the 207 on the west side of the 207. And at the time, there was the 207. Of course, not too many people will remember that, but at the time, it was a dirt road. It wasn't paved, and on most days, you'd see a car maybe every 20 minutes, not like now where there's constantly cars running back and forth. And I'm not sure what he's doing. It looks like he's almost handling maybe, I don't know. It kind of looks like maybe he's holding a cat in his hand, but I can't say for sure. And in the back, you have the field and the cattle grazing and the fence and the dirt road, of course, part of the farm. And here is a picture from, I don't remember what year it was, 1963. The Ganawag had an excellent lacrosse, not lacrosse. Well, a lot of these hockey players played lacrosse also. But here we have a hockey team. Their names are all up there. They belong to some kind of regional hockey league, and that just happened that year they won the championship. I remember I was just a young man at that time. I was maybe 14 years old, and they used to go play. I think it was in maybe Verdun. I'm not sure. But I remember I was always into sports. I was never actually a hockey player, but I used to follow sports. And when they would play hockey, they'd always have a bus, and I would find a way to make a few extra dollars, and I'd get on the bus and I'd pay and I'd go watch the hockey game. By way of making money, I used to shovel driveways, mow the lawn, whichever ways of getting some money so I can go to the hockey game. Also, I should mention too that in the summertime, I used to go caddy at Kanawaki Golf Club, and what I made back then was it was. I think it was for 18 holes, I think I used to get 90 cents. And for 9 holes, I used to get 50 cents. I know nobody would go caddy for that kind of money nowadays. But back in the early 60s, it was enough to... later on, I put my money together, whatever I made here and there, and I purchased a bicycle, because I remember the days when... hanging around with my friends after supper, we used to more or less ride around town. It was safe. There wasn't too many cars flying around through town, and we used to just ride around, tell stories, and a lot of us don't remember. I remember, but back then there was about I'm saying at least maybe 3 chip stands in town. Anyway, we'd be riding around and somebody would yell out, "Chip stand!" So we'd all just pull up. We'd leave our bikes on the side. There'd be about 6, 7 of us, and we all go order maybe a soda, a hot dog, and a fry. And we'd get, if I remember right, we were able to get all of that, and it wasn't even a dollar that it came up to. That just goes to show how much things have changed. Inflation has really caught up to us big time. And in this picture, I have my family with right there. Next is my son-in-law, George, my daughter, Kyla, my wife, Doreen, my daughter, Tracy. Let's see, that would be... okay. Used to be son-in-law, Dave McCumber. Then next would be Melanie Morrison, And then that would be her daughter, Darian. Then the next person with the sunglasses, we're making a young kid feel uncomfortable. That would be my son Lenny. And below him, that would be my grandson Travis. Then my grandson Brandon. This would be I'm not sure, but I think that would be my granddaughter Kylie. Yeah, that would be her. And this little guy being held by his mom, that would be my grandson Gawara Satste Macumber. And in here we have my another grandson Orakwase McGregor. And there's me striking a pose, making it look like I'm I don't know. You could always, in looking at me, it almost looked like I'm bored. I don't know why, but I have my family with me. I have no reason to be bored. Oh wow, here we go. Now talk about nostalgia. June 14th, 1969. We'll start at the far right. My one of my ushers, Frankie Brown. My other usher, my younger brother Herbie. Then my best man was Stephen Cross. And then my ring bearer, my younger brother John. We used to call him Dudu. John Dudu Bordeau. And that's me. And then next to me would be my wife Doreen. And her, I guess the flower girl, whatever they call, Candida Rice. And then next to would be the maid of honor, June Sky. And then that's Janice Rice and Kathy White. And if you're an observant person, Unfortunately, on June 12th, 1969, at work in New York, I broke my ankle on a construction job, ironwork job in New York, and I was only released from the hospital on Friday, and I was due to get married Saturday, so they put me in what they called a walking cast, and in most pictures they took that day, we tried to hide my cast, but in this picture, it is exactly quite prominent. You could see it right there, and you could almost see my toes because the cast was from my knee on all the way down to my. It covered my ankle, and my toes were the only part of my foot that was sticking out. Oh, and here we have. Okay, this would be. I'm guessing somewhere in the early 2000s. We used to call ourselves the Three Amigos. That's me in the front to the right with all my regalia at the powwow here, the Echoes of a Proud Nation powwow. I guess there must have been a little break. And next would be the late Floyd Brooks. He was I guess you could say, our oldest male dancer at the time. And he passed on sometime in the early 2000s. I'm not sure, but I know he left a mark with he was really missed by the rest of us. And next to him was my good friend, my cousin Alex Sunny Daibo. He was we formed what we used to call each other the Three Amigos. Now, out of the Three Amigos, I'm the only one that's still left as a dancer. And Sonny, he's still alive, but his dancing days are past. And I don't know why, but it looks like in looking at my picture, it looks like I must have been eating a lot of food back in those days. I look a little heavier than I actually am now. But anyway, that's us getting ready for the powwow. Okay, here I am. I'm back again, and I'm going to make this maybe a little shorter than what I've done in the last maybe 45 minutes or 60, whatever the case. I'm honored to be here. I'm glad that I have the opportunity to be here and also to present my memories, my stories, whatever. And I also feel that being a Mohawk person from Ganawage, it to me it's almost like I feel like it should be a duty for some of us elders that some remember some of the stories of how Ganawage used to be. Jinio tunenega nawage wahuni said. What that means is the way Ganawage used to be in years past. Anyway, I came here I was asked. I brought some pictures which were scanned and they're archived, and then I'm guessing they made some slides, and which later on, sometime in the future, people. Tourists from all over the world, and even I know that even people from town are going to want to listen to what I have to say, which I'm going to be glad, because really I think this whole thing about Ganatagwange, the cultural center, I think that in honesty, that's the best thing that happened to Ganawage in many years. I know that as I'm sitting here, I can think back to uh, 70 years ago when I was just a 10-year-old lad running around these parts, and then the Canadian and provincial government and the US government decided that they must pass a seaway through Ganawage. Now, what whoever decided that, uh, well, I'm not going to say any more about that, but we lost so much land that it's pitiful, and but what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I can't do anything. That's years ago, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. But that's done anyway. Before I get too angry, no, I don't get angry. Anyway, I'm just like I said earlier. I'm glad to be here and to present my memories, my stories, and if it's at some time in the future, the people here need me to come in and say some more words, I will gladly do so. Do so. So thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you sometime in the future, either at the post office, the bank, or wherever. Even maybe you may feel that you want to come up to me and say thank you for that awesome presentation you made. I will say thank you and nyawakoa.